OutKick 360 rolls on. Hutton and Withrow with you, joined by former Cardinals and Buccaneers head coach Bruce Arians at our broadcast site. Good to see you.
Great to be here, guys. Great to be here.
Here on behalf of the Arians Family Foundation.
Yeah, we've got a little event Saturday, 12 to 3 at STK for the Arians Family Foundation, and we'll have a lot of fun. One thing about our parties, there's a lot of fun.
Oh, no doubt.
No doubt.
What are you doing for the foundation specifically? What are you helping?
My wife was a CASA, court appointed special advocate. She was a broken family law attorney, as she would say. And so she started volunteering 20-some years ago, and I watched her save these kids one at a time. And once we got here in Arizona, had a platform, we started the foundation because we had a dire need here in Maricopa County of kids in foster care that needed positive influences in their life. And we try to raise money to train people to help these kids.
What's day-to-day life for you like right now in this past season?
I would go to practice, go in and work with the coaches a little bit, whenever they wanted me to do, try to stay out of the way, and then go play golf.
Not a bad day.
Yeah, I never played golf in the fall. It was kind of fun.
Not a bad existence. We were surprised when Tom Brady announced his retirement. We thought it was going to continue going. Were you surprised when you saw that he was hanging it up?
It could have went either way. Neither one of them would have surprised me. Tom can still sling it, but it was such a tough year personally for him, and I was so proud of the way he battled through this whole thing and never brought it to the field. I mean, it was hard on him, but what a great human being, great teammate.
Bruce Arians, our guest on OutKick 360. So rewind a year. You step away so Todd Bowles and the staff can stay together. A lot of changes a year later. And you've been outspoken about the fact you're not happy with that. You're not pleased with that. Looking back on that decision, would you change what you did based on the situation now? Would you still be the head coach of the Buccaneers based on that?
No, I've got all the trust in the world in Todd. And Todd's got to do what he needs, the way he feels. And his philosophy, and it didn't match this year. Byron's going to be a head coach someday. Hopefully it doesn't set him back too far because he is a tremendous football coach. And so, yeah, I think for us it's just which direction we want to go in. Todd wanted to go in a different direction, and it's his ball club, but I wouldn't change a thing.
Where did the wires get crossed from the media perspective on the relationship between you and Brady? What's the biggest misconception there?
I'm sure you read or heard something that you want to refute.
Probably because I said he threw an interception one time, but for whatever reason. But, man, we have got a great relationship, and hopefully play golf sometime soon when he gets back.
It's amazing to hear, everyone we've had on that played with Brady in New England talks about how Bill Belichick would speak to Brady like they've never heard another head coach speak to the starting quarterback of any team. And this was Tom Brady, that he was coached that way throughout in New England. I don't know that's your style, per se, in a team meeting, but when you were around and coaching him, could you sense that this was a guy who maybe was accustomed to being berated in team meetings?
He loves being coached and wants everything to be perfect. So, yeah, he doesn't take anything personal, that's for sure. And so, yeah, it's easy to coach those type of guys. And he'd obviously been through a system that's the way it was,
The fact that you ended up, how old were you when you got your first head coaching job here?
60.
And at that point, you never thought you would be able to do that.
Yeah. No, Chuck Pagano had to get leukemia.
Yeah.
For me to take over there. I was never the head coach. Chuck was always the head coach. And to just change the leadership role a little bit. But, I had 7 interviews set up, and 6 of them dropped me the first day. So, yeah, nobody wants a 60-year-old anymore, but Michael Bidwell gave me a chance, and I'm forever grateful for it.
And it was based off of the interim tag that you had in Indy based on that season.
One coach of the year.
What took so long? Based on your career trajectory and the success you've had as a head coach.
It's not like you were failing.
And the quarterbacks you worked with, the organizations you worked with. It doesn't make sense.
I don't know. You have to ask the owners. You do all those things.
But you didn't get any feedback, though.
No, I never asked anybody because, for me, it wasn't in the cards. And I wasn't a promoter. I didn't have an agent until that week. I had those interviews set up.
If only you had worked for Sean McVay in your early 30s, you could have had a job quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I was a head coach at 30, but that one almost killed me.
Are you still under contract with Tampa?
Yes, I'm still a consultant.
What the decision now moving forward without Tom is the route to go young or to go and hit the veteran market? Because we're seeing more movement than we have in recent years at the quarterback position.
I got to go back and look at 3 years ago when okay, let's see what's behind doing it. We like Jameis. I love Jameis's work ethic. But let's see who's behind door number 2, because you never know. Never would have dreamt it was Tom Brady and that he would choose us and we win a Super Bowl together. But I think we have to do our due diligence, look behind door. We all love Kyle Trask. We think Kyle's going to be a hell of a player. But you always got to look behind door number 2, see what's there.
Is this a roster around whoever the quarterback's going to be that can compete for a championship a year from now?
We got some great young players. I mean, Jason has drilled the draft for 3 years in a row, and we got a good young football team. We got a lot of veterans too, but we've always liked that good mixture of veteran guys and young guys. But we have a really quality young football team.
What does your future in football look like? Are you looking out 2 years down the road and thinking, I'm going to be a GM, I'm going to continue with this role? What is it you want to do?
I like my role now. Just phase me out. It's just phase me out.
You like the golf part of your job right now.
I do like the golf part, and I like sleeping till 9.
I mean, at Titans training camp with the joint practice, I saw you rolling around in the golf cart there. I mean, that's your seat now.
Yeah, it was. I've had one of those for a while now. I just had bad back, but it was fun this year. It really was for me it was an easier transition, to get out.
Arians Family Foundation. You can check it out. Just do the search. We'll also tag this on social. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. By the way, what do you think about the matchup on Sunday?
I think it's going to be a great game. Hassan Reddick's my guy. I think he's going to wreck the game, hopefully. But when we had success in the Super Bowl, we got Pat going, chasing him around.
Yep.
And I think the Eagles have the pass rush to do that. But I'd never bet against Mahomes.
Well, and how much better is this Chiefs offensive line than the ones you guys saw in that Super Bowl?
A lot better. But, man, that Eagle pass rush is special.
Yep.
It's strong at every position on that Philly roster.
No real weakness with Philly.
I think 2 of the best gets last year that Howie got were Bradbury and Gardner Johnson. That putting him with Slay, that secondary is legit now.
Trading for Slay, getting Bradbury for what was it, $10 million, I think, which is, I mean, if you look at his caliber of play,
it's a steal.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Bruce Arians has been our guest here at Super Bowl 57 Radio Row. Our coverage continues across the OutKick network on OutKick 360. Chad, your big takeaway from our chat with Bruce Arians?
Big takeaway was that he addressed the elephant in the room, a couple of them, actually. One, when you asked him about his relationship with Tom Brady, and no surprise, said they're fine, they're going to be playing golf together soon, and there's no issues. 2, he addressed the part about who will be the next Bucs quarterback. Not exactly a ringing endorsement of Kyle Trask.
Well, we kind of knew that.
Yeah, I mean, he said, we love Kyle, but, we got to look about what is behind door number 2.
Yeah.
Like a lot of teams may have to do that with the quarterback position, and they're certainly looking into that, door number 2.
Blaine Gabbert's a free agent. He was the backup.
Yeah.
Kyle Trask was the 3rd string.
Whether that be, one of these guys who are going to be available. We talked yesterday about the possibility of the Derek Carr revolving door of visits to the NFC South.
Yep.
With all those teams possibly looking for a quarterback. But really enjoyable chat with Bruce Arians. And he is just the type of guy, Hutton, that it is 100% what you see, what you get with him.
I got the sense based on, Todd Bowles remains the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Arians said he's got full confidence in what Todd's doing. He stepped away at the time so that Todd Bowles would have the opportunity to coach and have success in year 1. That did not happen. Now they're going through the quarterback transition. They have an older roster that they're going to have to revamp with some influx of youth, and also view it from this stance. I get the vibe I had from the coaching changes, because it was 6 total and then 3 others retired. It felt a little bit like Scott Frost in Nebraska, where he got rid of some coaches to be retained and not have the change at head coach. I'm not saying that they were at that level to where they're going to fire Todd Bowles, because Bruce wanted him to, remain intact. He wanted the staff intact, and he's voiced his opinion that he's unhappy with how the Glazer family made some changes, so to speak. But there's no doubt the pressure's on him. And it's intriguing that if you're going to go young, if you're going with the rookie quarterback, getting the new offensive coordinator, Bowles is the head coach. It's a lot like Houston in a weird way, because you got to pair the OC with the right QB if you're going to go that way in the draft. Or free agency, because it's boom or bust in free agency too.
Did you read into it at all when he said, you asked about the coaching changes and him being vocal about it? and he kind of gave an answer of, no, we wanted Todd Bowles, and I trust Todd Bowles' opinion on the staff. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, is he saying that because he knows not all these decisions were Todd Bowles, and he's more okay with it if it's a Todd Bowles decision, but
Arians.
He doesn't believe it is. He also went out of his way to praise whom? Byron Leftwich. Saying Byron Leftwich, not even asked about him, I know he's going to get a job, and he's going to be a head coach one day, or he's going to be just fine. That jumped out to me as he had an issue with the moves, but he also doesn't have an issue with anything Todd Bowles wants to do. So maybe there was
that's how I read
Todd
into
Bowles
it because of the
yeah.
loyalty aspect Arians showed Bowles. There's no doubt he would have that same loyalty to his staff if given the opportunity. From the offensive discussion to one of the best to play on the defensive side, our coverage continues with Pro Football Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins. One of the more accomplished safeties in the history of the National Football League, Pro Football Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins with us on OutKick 360. Pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
The Eagles, they're back.
Yes, they are.
You got to be thrilled with how this team is built.
Oh, my goodness. The Eagles being back, phenomenal talent across the board. Coaches have done an outstanding job of growth from one year to the next, and now putting these gentlemen in position to make plays, and they're making a whole lot of plays.
Yes, they are.
And then on the other side, a coaching staff that I'm very familiar with for the most part.
Yeah, is that weird for you at all?
It is not. Well,
going against Andy Reid, your guy?
No, because I've done it before.
Yeah.
Like I've played against a team coached by Andy before, so that's not weird, right? But when it's all said and done, it's Eagles. But I love the fact that they've made it to this point, and he's having the consistent success that he had in Philadelphia. He's having it in the KC. So now, to me, you can't mention one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the National Football League, and not have Andy in that conversation.
I agree, and I think everyone would. As a competitor, though, can you truly be happy if either side wins?
No.
Or do you have to pick a side on this?
No, you got to pick a side, Jack.
So it's Eagles,
Yeah,
right?
it's
I mean,
Eagles,
your loyalty to the Eagles.
Yeah.
I'm just making sure because there are a lot of people that come in and do an interview and say, the great thing is that I'm good either way because my guy won the Super Bowl or my team won. But this is all or nothing for you.
This is all or nothing,
Good.
Jack. This is all or nothing.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
It's all or nothing.
Brian Dawkins, our guest. In your era, the safety position, every team wanted the elite player at the safety spot. Ed Reed, John Lynch, Harrison, yourself, the list goes on and on. Why is it valued the same way now in the league? And is it because of the rule changes or is it something else?
I think it is to a certain extent. You see that there are, I call them chess pieces. A chess piece is basically what the Eagles have in CJ. So he's a chess piece. You can move him wherever you want to move him on the field. He can cover the slot. He can blitz. He can tackle in space. He can make the pick in the open field. He can do all of those things. So you don't have to necessarily change packages. You can just put him in a different position to have success. And so when you have that, you then allow the defensive coordinator more freedom to do more things, right? So to me, you do have those individuals. Minka Fitzpatrick is another one of those individuals, in my humble opinion. Buddha out in
Baker,
yes. Buddha here, right? So
Arizona,
same thing, Arizona.
That's right.
Same. So you have guys that have that capability to do all of the things that I just said. Once again, a chess piece, not someone just playing checkers, going from one space to the next.
How much power has the league taken away from the safety position with some of the rules in terms of how you can legislate violence legally in the game before and you can't legislate that violence now?
And that was always the tough thing for me when I played. So the advantage these young players have is this is something that they have been taught growing up. I was not taught these things growing up. I was taught a completely different way. So to in mid,
it's more basketball now than it was when you played.
Yeah, right.
Much more physical and hitting. Now it's more of a basketball game.
But if you think about it in golf terms, it's hard for you to check your swing in the middle of it, and then only certain guys can check their swing and go and start all over again. In football, you can't check your hit. Like, you're going to be all in and you're going to do it.
You're committed or you're not.
You're committed or you're not. Same thing, right? So,
just like you with the Eagles winning.
So
full commitment.
Full commitment.
Got to go all in. Yeah.
And so understanding those things, that the rules have changed and I understand why they've changed. So as a professional, it was my responsibility to change, and I did.
When you left Clemson, I think the school was 15 years removed from a national title in 1981 when you went to the league. So there was obviously, you could see potential in a national championship type program. But when you finished your time there, did you see that level of what Dabo was able to do at Clemson with multiple national championships?
There's no way you can project that.
Yeah.
Because Dabo I think he wasn't even the coach yet. I think he was. It took him 4 years after my retirement for him to come there as a receivers coach or something like that. So he was not even in the picture. So there's no way that anybody could have projected that Clemson would be put on the map that they are on now. There's no way. So I always tell people that I went to Clemson, but not the Clemson of today. So I didn't go to this Clemson. I went to the school Clemson, but it wasn't the Clemson that Dabo has built.
You still get the benefit though. You're
Absolutely.
a Clemson guy, so
Absolutely.
hey, you win those national championships too.
Absolutely.
They all count.
Absolutely.
How much did you hate South Carolina?
Oh man, it's a must. It's a must.
Prereq.
Yeah, it's a must.
Part of the scholarship.
They might as well put you in the room like I picture one of those torture scenes in a movie. They make you watch something over and over and over and over again. So it's like we hate South Carolina.
Zero dark 30.
Yes. So now and coming from Jacksonville, Florida, I didn't know anything about that rivalry, but I soon found out that is a rivalry that I need to make sure that I can't stand, and leaning strongly into hating that team.
Which quarterback in your career got the best out of you whenever you were prepping for them each week? The gamesmanship, the game within the game.
Wow. It would be the two individuals that most people will talk about, and that's Peyton and Tom.
Okay.
It's the system, yes, but also the individual driving the system, right? So being able to play those games, and we didn't, and a tough thing for us, we didn't play them all the time. So that's another thing. So if they were in our division, you get a chance to watch film on it, prepare for them a whole lot more. But when you don't play them a whole lot, and then you have to prepare for all the things that they do, like it was a lot tougher than a lot of other quarterbacks.
How much of you're going? It's Peyton Manning as an example. Yeah. How much are you bogeying with him to try to throw him off on whatever check he's going to make? And how much of it is, okay, we're showing this. Now I know he's probably going to check to this. It's the chess.
It's the chess.
Right, and not the checkers of it.
It's the chess.
How much more involved is that when you prepare for a guy like Peyton Manning and you're actually implementing the game plan on game day?
So depending on what it is that you're doing, you would literally walk through disguises. We were walking through the specific things he would do, and if we wanted to try to get him to check something, I may cheat like I'm going to come down, and if I sell it, then he may check to something that'll help us have success on that play because we're doing something the other way. So those type of gamemanship, and again, it's different though when you play against a team. Like if you listen to Ray Lewis talk about Baltimore and talk about Baltimore, you listen to Ray and those guys and Ed talk about playing against Tom and playing against Manning, they have a deeper familiarity with him, right? But for us, again, we don't play him all the time.
The NFC team.
The NFC team. But again, those shells and showing one thing, doing the other, the gamemanship within the game, it was exhausting, but you needed to do it. You had to do it.
Pro Football Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins, our guest, here on behalf of HeGetsUs.com. Tell us more and why you're involved.
Wow. This is the reason I am who I am, from coming from where I came from. Developing the life and mindset that I have developed in my life is modeling my life after the character of Jesus Christ. And so when you see me on the field living with a passion and doing things with a passion, that passion is actually a gift that I have been given. The way that I do what I do, I didn't come up with that. I didn't do things a specific way to all of a sudden develop the voice that I have, the charisma that I have. You can see the intensity coming out. That's not necessary. I didn't do something to get that. That is a gift that I have been given. But I've watched and I've listened and I've read on how he did the human thing. And he was perfect doing this human thing. So he had the same exact emotions as all of us had. Yeah. But his emotions never took over. He always controlled them. So that means that I have the possibility of doing the exact same thing. So there is no excuse for me, for me not doing the things that I need to do to make you somebody that believes that I want the best for you. You feel me?
Yes.
To love you like I love myself.
So what's at the site? HeGetsUs.com.
So it'll be a lot of information to get you to think about your life, where you are, and how you can get to another place, a better place, the best place to be for you, not just for you, but also for your family.
I know you're picking the Eagles. What's the matchup we're not talking about enough? We're talking quarterback, receiver. What do you look at in this game?
Man. The one thing that both of these teams do that the other team will have to then have been talking about, working on, is first contact tackling. So that means that yards after catch, whichever team does not allow a lot of yards after catch or yards after contact, that will be the team that come out successful this game. So not a lot of people talking about that from a
That's a new angle. Yeah.
The defensive standpoint. Again, those short gains, if you allow that running back out of the backfield for Kansas City to catch the ball for 2 yards and he breaks 5 tackles and you can't allow him to break those tackles.
Brian Dawkins, he didn't have many missed tackles.
No, one of the all-time greats.
Just a couple.
That's right. Hey, pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. More coming on OutKick 360.